As Hazbin Hotel draws nearer, we are getting more merch, and of course, after pre-ordering a bunch of the Hazbin Hotel trading cards, I made an unboxing video over on our side channel, Random Universe, that you can go watch by using the link in the corner or in the pinned comment down below. But today, in this video, we're going to be breaking down all 50 cards that appear to be available, and what cool hints they give us about the show. My name is ImpSona, hit that subscribe button, and hit that subscribe button again if you were already subscribed before that, because hitting it just now would have unsubscribed you. Now, these are trading cards, but it's not a trading card game. You don't collect in order to battle other people. And instead, there are just 50 cards of which you can trade and collect as memorabilia for the show. There seems to be 3 types of base cards that you can get, those being characters, weapons, which are of course linked to certain characters, and locations, which are not as cool as the weapons in my opinion, but we've got some stuff there to dissect either way. The location cards range from generic to interesting, with the first 4 we are going to talk about just being kind of generic visuals of the Hazbin Hotel itself, though some are destroyed and others are more cleaned up looking. For location 5, we have the parlor inside the hotel, which appears to be sort of the main set, if you will, for the show. The regular place that all the characters can naturally just be at, relaxing on any given day. The next location is the Crow's Nest, a high-up place in the hotel that is essentially a lookout. In Vaggy's redesigned artwork from earlier this year, she can be seen hanging from the Crow's Nest as it's a spot to watch out for enemies that might be coming after the hotel. Next is the Cannibal Town Plaza, which seems to be a pretty important location in the show as well. For a while, our only real info about this place came from the ancient live streams dated back to the Paleolithic era, and the one-off Alistair prequel comic that used to be available on the Hazbin Hotel website. This is the home of Rosie and other vintage-style demons who, in addition to all liking the same early 1900s American time period, also like to eat people for some reason. Next is the V Tower, the home of the 3 Vs, which looks much different from the original pilot, which I generally don't show in video, so Haro, please censor it when you compare the two. Next is Charlie's room at the hotel, which looks pretty nice and has some Apple imagery to allude to her father Lucifer, as well as a mysterious box on the bed that I'm sure will play out in the show. Finally, getting really interesting is the Heaven Embassy, which I do believe Charlie is also seen going to in one of the previews for the show. As the name suggests, this is a sort of outpost organization for angels in hell, and Charlie likely goes there to discuss her plans for the Hazbin Hotel with an angel like Adam. We can see from the trailer that the building is at the very center of Pentagram City, with there being a giant 1-year hourglass counting down the days between each of the annual exterminations. Another angelic location appears to be Heaven's Courtroom, something not alluded to in the show yet, but which I imagine to be important, or at least somewhere we will see at some point if it's one of the locations here. I imagine, as things go crazy in the show, a big court case in heaven might happen where Charlie might have to be put on trial for whatever happens with the annual extermination, as it seems like there's going to be some big battle there, and ultimately I hope she gets to make a case for the hotel, though I don't imagine that will go well. Now, of course, the really big thing these cards have is the inclusion of 2 characters known as Emily and Sarah, who most people knew about from the leaks a while back, but who I'm glad we can be more direct about now as these cards are coming out. The name Sarah implies that this woman, who appears to be the same woman from the recent trailer, is in fact a seraph, or one of the seraphim. Seraphim can have different rankings and different hierarchies, but with Lucifer's wings and the throne he's sitting on in his redesigned artwork, he appears to be a seraph as well, which would mean that they are probably one of the highest ranking angels in the Helluverse. As a proper angel, Lucifer would probably look closer in style and color to Sarah and Emily, but he has been banished from heaven, which means he has taken on a demonic form for his time in hell. Emily there's no official word on, but considering her similarities to Sarah and the crown she's wearing, I imagine her to also be a seraph. This is important because, according to series writer Adam Nayland, Lucifer is a fallen angel, so powerful that he can't be killed by something like an angelic weapon, and can only be smited by an angel of higher ranking, which after his banishment to hell, the other seraphim likely are. At least Sarah, as Emily looks softer and perhaps not as powerful. Definitely expect a more dedicated video on angels now that we can talk about these 2 more clearly. Additionally, with these angels, we got a card for Adam, who comes with his own weapon, his guitar. Adam with a guitar is interesting, as it's Lucifer who is known for having played beautiful music in heaven for God before he was banished. And I look forward to seeing him use this guitar as some sort of weapon within the show. Serving under Adam, we also have a card for Lute, his second in command for the Exorcist. Then finally there is Lucifer himself, just looking funny. One anomaly among the cards that makes sense to put with the Angels is a card that's just called the Severed Exorcist Head. The Angels are presumably immortal like sinners, and it makes me think that the only way to kill them would also be with an angelic weapon, it being used to kill souls and not sinners in particular, which can mean either exorcists have been killed in the past, or a lot more might die in the upcoming battle in the series. Rosie's card doesn't seem to have anything new on it, but she pairs well with this card of a new character named Susan, who I imagine to be a not so important sort of a third character representing the colony of cannibals to interact with Rosie and Alistair, Susan representing the more common folk there, with Rosie and Alistair being overlords. In addition to Rosie with her friend Susan, we also have the three Vs, each getting their own card, Vox, Valentino, and Velvet, who of course pair well with the V Tower, but Valentino also has a dedicated weapons card called the Money Shot. Additionally, we have Carmilla and Zestial, two overlords who work very closely with Lucifer as seen in the pilot, as well as the third member of their team, Zilla, who does not have their own card. Carmilla Carmine appears to be the overlord of the angelic weapons trade, with someone pointing out to me that Moxie refers to the angelic weapon of strikers in episode 5 of Helluva Boss as genuine Carmine crafted, meaning Carmilla likely dealt with weaponry in life before coming to Hell, and the angelic weaponry is something she works with thanks to the annual exterminations, leaving some weapons behind that are then melted down for her to reshape. Zestial is perhaps the most mysterious of the overlords working under Lucifer, but he seems to have a spider theme and perhaps more Lovecraftian origins. Next, I want to go through the cast cards, which don't tend to have a lot of new information, but most of which can be paired with a cool item or weapons card. First is Vaggie, who doesn't actually have a weapons card, as her secondary card would be the Crow's Nest as mentioned in the locations, but she is seen with her cool looking spear, which I assume to be angelic. Then there is Charlie, who doesn't just have her room card, but also the pitchfork card, which looks really cool. I can't wait to see her use this, perhaps even to kill some sinner, doubtful, but that would be fun. She could also be paired with this hotel key card, which she is actually holding in her actual character card, and which may allude to Kiki, the key-looking cat demon who is supposed to be important to the hotel in some way. Next we have Alistair, who appears to be tied to his microphone card, of course, which plays into my theory I had a while back that there may be an angelic weapon hidden under the microphone, since most of the items shown are weapons of some sort, as well as this shrunken head, which I imagine to be voodoo related, something a bit controversial lately. Nifty comes with her own item card, a sewing needle, and I almost wonder if this too will turn out to be an angelic weapon. Nifty is implied to be a little crazy and violent, and I could see her getting into debt with Alistair because she wanted an angelic weapon to use on her own. I like to think of her as having killed someone in her earthly life, and being a small demon in hell probably isn't taken very seriously, but could use that to her advantage if she had an angelic weapon. Angel comes with a card for his Tommy gun, which I look forward to seeing in the show as well. With this, I would also include the card featuring the Eggy Boys, the minions of Serpentius, but Serpentius kind of has an entire card suite on his own. He has one card as Serpentius, another as General Pentius, which I'm curious to see in the show. In addition to the Eggy Boys, he also has his own ray gun card, though it's nothing special, I'd say. There's Husk, who doesn't seem to have a weapon or any companion card really, but it's still nice to see art of him, as well as Cherry Bomb, who looks good, and I'm excited to see she's actually still part of the show, because I haven't really seen her in any of the previews. One cool thing we got in these card sets were two versions of Razzle and Dazzle, Charlie's pets from the pilot. They are said to have been stuffed toys Charlie had as a kid that Lucifer brought to life to be her bodyguards, and here we can see their cool beast modes for when they protect her. Now, among the other cards, we have a lot of simple ones that I'm going to show, but that don't have too much to say about them. Katie Killjoy and Tom Trench each have their own card, and I imagine they will be a funny comedic duo that will be appearing on news a lot in the show, probably talking about the hotel and anything that will be relevant to them. Another fun surprise was the Mimsy trading card. She's a character I've been very curious about after learning she wasn't just a background character in the pilot, but originally the love interest for Alistair before they decided to make him asexual, and someone who seems to have their own plot and story to contribute to Hazbin Hotel. And finally, the last interesting card from these one-offs are the Loan Sharks, who we even know from the Angel Dust prequel comic, and who appear in the trailer as cronies that seem to be attacking the hotel. Finally, we have two cards that are in their own category entirely, one just called Sinners, but the other one not being called Angels, but rather the Winners. The Sinner's card is self-explanatory and just shows hell as we understand it already, but the Winner's card shows a variety of different angels in heaven, presumably earthborn to parallel the Sinners, but some of these in the background in particular look way more like the noble demons of hell such as seen in the Goetia, with the two in the foreground looking more like humans turned angels. But until we get into the show and can see for ourselves, we can't really say for certain what they are, other than Winners of course, which may have been part of the goal to hide what their identity was, whether or not some were earthborn or more local demons to heaven. If you guys like seeing all these cards, go watch me unbox 3 packs of them over on our other channel, Random Universe. And don't forget to subscribe because I'll be making more videos about some of the lore here, such as about the angels very soon. See you guys next time!